Alright, hello everyone. This video is going to be a little bit different. It's just going to be a raw, unedited take of this test from 2018 to 19. I linked everything in the description, so if you want to print it out and follow along, that is your prerogative, but that would be helpful, then maybe do that. And I also have a bubble sheet linked to make the experience as real as possible. And I'd also suggest getting out a number 2 pencil and a stopwatch like I have on me right now. I'm also going to have a bubble sheet kind of thing, but I'm just doing it on here to save paper. But anyway, I've never seen this test before, so we're just gonna do this 45-minute test and see what happens. Yeah. So I might make a video on actual pacing, but what we're gonna try to do is 30 seconds per question. The raw math comes out to 36 seconds per question, but that extra time is to allot for bubbling, and it makes the math easier if you're figuring out what question you should be on at a certain time. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I guess get comfortable. So we're gonna be here for a bit. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, if I'm narrating and I fall completely silent, it's probably because I'm trying to think. It's hard to speak and think at the same time. Maybe that's just me being a small brain boy. But anyway, get yourself all situated. And I'm about to start. Timer. Ready, set. Cool. I think I'm going to put a timer on the screen. But anyway. Alright, sliding stones to the Forbidden City. So I'm assuming this is about, who was it? Someone made a Forbidden City from AP World or something. Oh, we're losing time. Yeah, Beijing. The Forbidden City, built in the 15th and 16th century in Beijing, China. Beijing, China is built in the 15th. Yeah, we can cross that whole thing out. So I think that would be no change for number 1 because that's kind of in a positive. It's a complex consisting... What? Oh, complex consisting of the Imperial Palace and 980 surrounding buildings. A large number of massive stones were used in its construction. Some of them featured elaborate... Some of these had elaborate... Some were... A large number of massive stones were used in its constructions. Some with elaborate... Yeah, I think that would be J. The other ones make it into a dependent clause, or an independent clause, which we don't want. Because China had developed sophisticated wheeled vehicles 2,000 years before construction, scholars assumed the work had used carts. However, a document translated by researchers Zhangli, Haosheng Chen, and Howard Stone researchers Zhangli, I don't think it would be D, because it has that comma there. Zhangli, yeah, we need those commas, and Howard Stone in 2013. Document translated by Bob in 2013 revealed. However, a document translated by Bob in 2013 revealed that workers used document translated by Bob in 2013. Yeah, I don't think you would need this other comma either. So I think that would be B. That was kind of weird though, because it was such a long list. Revealed that workers used a surprising means of transportation. Yeah, that'd be a colon. Sledge pulled on ice. The document that was later translated by Zhang, Haosheng, and Stone stated The document, yeah, I don't think we would need that. That kind of reiterates everything we talked about before. So probably delete. Stated that in January 1557, a team of men hauled a 123 stone to the Forbidden City on a sledge. The men pulled the sledge miles in days, moving 20 feet per minute. Zhang Haosheng and Stone wondered why. Yeah, I think that'd be no change. Shorter is better. Those other ones are kind of cumbersome. Why the workers chose to slide the stones on sledges instead of carts. They calculated the city's largest stones, weighing up to 300 tons. So that would be B. We want that dash, but we don't want that colon there. Were too heavy for 16th century carts to carry. In addition, the rough, bumpy roads of the time made maneuvering the carts difficult. Sledges were easier, smoother, and more reliable. But how could a team of men only drag a heavy sledge 45 miles in a few weeks? The writer wants to emphasize that a few weeks was a short period of time. But how could a team of men drag a heavy sledge 45 miles in only a few weeks? In only, so that'd be after in. I think that would be J, because it would be in only a few weeks, saying that is a small amount of time. The researchers discovered that to counter friction, confront friction, kind of sounds like personification. Dispute friction, no. Debate friction, no. So I think that would be B for number 9. Researchers discovered that to counter friction, the workers created artificial ice paths that poured water onto the ground. Ice paths by pouring water on the ground. Yeah, that'd be H. Ice paths can't pour anything, so no change would be wrong. So yeah, that'd be H. Wait. The workers created artificial ice paths by... Yeah. They let the winter air freeze the water, and then they let the air freeze and then pulled. Okay, so that'd be C. 11 is C, I think. They let the winter air freeze and the water... They let the winter air freeze the water and then pulled the sledge over the ice. Yeah. The workers also dug wells along the route so they could pour fresh water over the ice. Dug wells along the route so they could... Yeah, I don't think we need a comma. That's just a simple... So, nothing special there. So they could pour fresh water over the ice, thereby further reducing friction. If the writer were to delete that, not even look at the answers, it would take out information that would explain why they were digging wells. Yeah. I think that would be C. Clarifies the reason workers poured water over the ice. Yeah, because it reduced friction more. Doesn't reveal the methods. Yeah. I think that's C. 13 is C. The combination of the hard, icy surface and water lubrication. The combination meant that a small team could move the massive stones quickly and safely. The combination of the hard, icy surface and water lubrication meant that, the combination meant, I think that'd be J. We can just cut some of that stuff out to make it easier to tell. These artificial ice paths made possible the construction of Beijing. The writer wants to add the following true sentence. The secret was ice. Oh, okay. That would be a little bit earlier on. So the secret was ice. Point A, point... Okay. Where's A? Revealed that workers use a surprising means of transportation. A sledge pulled on ice. The secret was ice. Yeah, I don't think that would fit at A. At B, The document stated that in January 1557, a team of men hauled a 123-ton stone to the Forbidden City on a sledge. The secret was ice. The men pulled the... Wondered why the workers chose to slide the stones on sledges instead of using carts. The secret was ice. Bro. Oh, here it is. Goodness. Okay, this makes way more sense. But how could a team of men only drag a heavy sledge 45... we moved the only, but... how do they move it that fast? The secret was ice. Okay. Sorry, that took forever. 15 is D. Cool. Cecilia Pine-Gaposchkin and star composition. In 1923, when Cecilia arrived in the U.S. to study astronomy... I don't think we need a transition word in the first sentence, so I think that would be delete. To study astronomy, a widely held belief in her chosen field was that the stars, including the sun, varied widely in their... It's talking about stars, plural. Her PhD thesis asserted... Yeah, we still want that comma. So that'd be G. Asserted that... Wait. Her PhD thesis, published in 1929, asserted unlike the planets... Yeah, we would want that other comma, because her PhD... It would be saying her PhD asserted that all the stars are largely composed of hydrogen and helium. The idea was instantly met with vehement opposition from her colleagues. Within a few years, however... studies by other astronomers, Otto Struve in particular... Is that a period? Within a few years, however, studies by other astronomers isn't a complete sentence. I'm just gonna assume that's a or not a period, but whatever. Within a few years, however, studies by other astronomers, or maybe it's supposed to be I don't even know. Astronomers Otto Struve, or maybe it's a comma. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be a comma. Okay. It'd be Otto Struve in particular, comma, went on to prove that her assertion was correct. Otto Struve in particular. Studies by other astronomers, Otto Struve in particular, proved... Yeah. So that'd be C. Okay, cool. Payne-Gaposchkin eventually published more than 150 papers and monographs and rose to be the first woman chair at a department in Harvard. Struve, in fact, emphasizes that Struve felt strongly about his opinion. Declared. That'd be H. Declared that her work was... I'm confused with tense... Okay, so who's Payne? That's her last name. Okay. I thought that was two people. Otto Struve went to prove that her assertion was correct. She published papers and became a chair. Struve said that her work was the most brilliant thesis ever written. Okay. Her work... Yeah, that's no change. Probably just overthought that a lot. 22, which is the most logical? Okay. I think you would put 3 before 2. Because number 1 has to kind of be there. Just talking about opposition from her colleagues. Within a few years, it was disproven that she was not wrong. Or that she was wrong. Eventually, I think that'd be 1, 3, 2 is an option. It is. Letter G. Cool. To accomplish the groundbreaking work of her thesis... Yeah, so it already said it was published in 1925. Oh, wait, did it? What was that? Oh, 1923. Oh, here it is. So they already said published in 1925, so we don't really need what's underlined. So we can put D. 24. Payne-Gaposchkin had applied astrophysicist Saha's new developed theory of ionization to the study of stellar atmospheres. She labored over what was at the time... Yeah, I think that'd be H. She labored over what was at the time the world's largest collection of stellar spectra. Okay, this says in the world, so we don't need the world's largest. We would just put D. Everything else is redundant. To the untrained eye, stellar spectra looks like random smears on a sheet of paper. The images that were created with a spectroscope, an instrument that, when attached to a telescope, captures the various wavelengths of light. The images that were created with a spectroscope. The images were created with a spectroscope. I think that'd be H. Yeah, the other ones are weird. Payne Gaposchkin turned most of her attention to the absorption lines, the dark gaps where light at certain wavelengths was missing. The gaps where turned most of her attention to the absorption lines, the dark gaps where light at certain wavelengths was missing. What's her attention to the other? Okay, I think this is a comma. I'm pretty sure. Sorry about this terrible quality, but turn most of her attention to the absorption lines, the dark gaps where light at certain wavelengths was. Yeah, because it's saying light was missing. Okay, that was just weird. I thought it was saying gaps was missing, but yeah, that's no change. The other ones make it an independent clause, but there's no comma with a conjunction. So she concluded ultimately, comma. So that'd be H. That the variations among the stellar spectra were not, as previously thought, an indication of different stellar composition. She concluded that the variation among stellar spectra were not an indication of, okay. Instead, she took the position that the gaps could be attributed. What? Went ahead and told everyone. I think to be parallel with the tone of the rest of the essay, we'd have to choose 29 here. 29, which is A. Sorry. Choose A because, went ahead and told everyone. That's not really the tone of the essay. Instead, she took the position that the gaps could be attributed to the different temperatures of the stars, but the star's elemental makeup was largely uniform. Yeah, I think that's no change. The discovery to this day is considered one of the greatest in the field of astronomy. Okay, wants to add the following statement to the preceding paragraph. Where? Okay, the gaps represent the chemical elements in a star's atmosphere that absorb the light. She concluded that the variations were not an indication of different stellar composition. The gaps represent chemical elements in a... okay, maybe not there. So the gaps represent the chemical elements in a star's atmosphere. The gaps represent. Turn most of our attention to the absorption lines. Most of our attention to the absorption lines. The dark gaps were light. The dark gaps where light at certain wavelengths was missing. The gaps represent. Oh, yeah. So point C. It's talking about the gaps. The dark gaps where light was missing. The gaps represent the chemical elements in a star's atmosphere that absorb light. Where else would it? Yeah. So if we put it here, we wouldn't know what gaps we were talking about. And the same with A. So I think that would be point C. Hopefully. Whatever. Cool. Theater in the Small. Interesting title. For a brief trip in 2011, Theater for One was situated... I think that'd be stint. For a brief stint in 2011, Theater for One was situated in New York City's Times Square, just a few steps from Broadway's mainstream theaters. For a brief shift... No, I think that'd be stint. Stint means period of time. Yeah. I mean, so does shift, but I think it'd be stint, because shift sounds like you're taking turns or something. So that'd be C for that, I believe. Dope. This 4x8 black booth, trimmed in steel and lined in red velvet. Served. Yeah, we can cross that out, and it would be this 4x8 black booth served as the locale for 5 plays. It'd be J. 33. Each play had a single actor and a single audience member. What? That's cool. Let me erase this. Okay, a single actor and a single audience member. If they deleted that sentence, the essay would probably lose information. Okay, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't know what theater for one was. So maybe B. That's not right. Description of how, no. Explanation of the, no. So I think that is B. None of the other reasonings really make sense. Okay. And intriguingly, each demanded the spectator's involvement. And intriguingly, each demanded... I think that's no change, even though it's kind of weird. You don't want a semicolon. Wait. Yeah, because I would divide up 2 independent clauses, but we don't have that. And intriguingly, each demanded that, yeah, so J wouldn't work. And intriguingly, yeah, I don't think G works as well as 30, or F, because you don't really need that much of a break there, which the colon would put. And intriguingly, each, yeah. All right, what time are we at? We are at almost 20 minutes, so we should be around question 40 right now. So let's try and catch up to that. So we're about 5 questions behind. Not a problem. In making the audience a part of the play, theater for one epitomizes intimate theater, a movement that has seen recent rise in popularity. Intimate theater collapses the wall separating the audience from the actors. Yeah, I think that'd be D. We don't need a transition because we're still on the same idea. It creates an immersive experience. The audience participates. Audience involvement can be physical or verbal. Okay, that would be F. In a London production of Mask of the Red Death, audiences wandered the halls of the Arts Center, revising the underlined portion to that. I don't think they should make that revision because who cares what his name? Yeah. So no, because it is a relevant detail that does not contribute to the description of the production. I think so. Yeah. No, because it adds a detail that could cause confusion. No. Yes, because it provides a detail that helps the plot. No. Yes, because it offers a detail suggesting the building had. No. That'd be C. 37 is C. So what? They were wandering the halls of an art center while scenes played out in rooms. People could walk on a scene already in progress. Gosh. Some of those things are... So it's F again, because it's shorter is better, but some of those answer options are kind of funny. Or leave before a scene finished. Actors drew the spectators in by making eye contact, touching someone's arm, pre-corona, or beckoning someone to follow them to a new location. A person's show, specifically, quite literally, a person's show, therefore, quite literally depended on his or her own movements. Yeah, I think that would be 39 as C, and then 40 as G. If we reread that. A person's show, therefore. So it talked about all of the aspects of intimate theater, and then they're saying a person's show, therefore, quite literally depended on his or her particular movements, I think. Some productions rely almost completely on actor-audience dialogue. An Edinburgh festival featured live art speed dating, for which each theatergoer met with each of the 12 actors individually for a series of mini dates. It's weird. An Edinburgh festival featuring live art speed dating, for which Yeah, so it wouldn't be D. At an Edinburgh festival, which featured live or speed dating, for which each theater goer met with, true love. Yeah, I think that's no change. Wait, would it be an Edinburgh festival that featured? Yeah, no, never mind. Wait, would it be C? An Edinburgh festival that featured live or speed dating, for which? Yeah, I think that's no change. I can, a little bit of confidence. An Edinburgh festival featured live or speed dating, for which each theater goer met with actors for dates. For dates. For internal, audience members first paired off with actors to talk for 25 minutes and then sat in a circle with something seemingly more akin to group therapy. Some experiences could be exhilarating and unsettling. Intimate theater breaks. I think delete that. Breaks the rules of traditional theater. Relying on the audience's personal involvement, it sometimes blurs the line between illusion. So that'd be C. Whether it's in Times Square or Edinburgh, intimate theater is definitely not Broadway. Which choice concludes the essay by linking back to the idea presented in the first sentence? What does it say? Yeah, it talks about Broadway in the first sentence. It was situated just a few steps from Broadway's mainstream theaters, and then at the end it would say, whether it's in Times Square or Edinburgh, intimate theater is definitely not Broadway. Yeah, that would be F. All right. Suppose the writer's purpose had been to offer an overview of a movement in theater. I suppose it does. Defines intimate theater and focuses on the buildings constructed to feature. Kind of. Discusses the central elements of intimate theaters with examples of specific performances. I like that better. Historical shifts in theatrical performance. Not really. Specific examples, but does not identify elements that are common to it. I think it does. It offers several examples of intimate theater, but does not identify any. No. Okay, I think that's B. Discusses the central elements of intimate theater with examples of specific performances. I can't even think. I think that's B. The brain deadness is setting in. Yeah, I think so. Because it had that example of live art speed dating and internal, and that weird one with Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah. Keeping her moving. Lily's mission. Dyer's woad. Interesting. Lily barks as she turns into in a circle. Then she sits down, blah, 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 waiting for her handler, Amy. The yellow retriever's actions tell her that Lily detected Dyer's woad, the invasive weed the two are searching for. So I think 47 would be B. 4 on the wildflower speckled hillside of Mount Sentinel. Weed the two are searching for on. Yeah. On the hillside. Searching for at the wildflower speckled hill. Yeah. Okay, 46. Yeah, that'd be no change. Because the other ones make it an independent clause, and all we have is a comma there. Lily's actions also trigger. G. GPS unit attached to her harness to record the dog's precise location. Once Hurt catches up to Lily, the retriever gets ready for what's next. Which choice provides the best transition? Once Hurt catches up to Lily, Hurt can then find the one shell plant. pulling it up as Lily watches. That'd be H for 50. But 49, probably D. Once Hurt catches up to Lily, the retriever points her nose directly at the woad. Hurt can then find the 1-inch tall plant, pulling it up as Lily watches, anticipating her reward. C is funny. I think that's right. Yeah. In a few weeks, the team will return to confirm that the weed has not re-sprouted. Lily is one of several dogs on the crew of Working Dogs for Conservation, a nonprofit organization based in Three Forks, Montana. The group trains dogs and works with humans. Clearly indicates that the dogs are working with humans on the con. The group trains dogs. The group trains dogs and works with humans. Which choice indicates that the dogs are working with humans? The group trains dogs while working with humans. Dogs to work with humans. Okay, to work with humans. That'd be B. The group trains dogs to work with humans on a variety of conservation-related initiatives. In 2010, the organization from the state puts the clearest emphasis on the organization's goal to remove the woad from Montana. In 2010, the organization joined one of Montana's longest-running projects from the state to eradicate Dyer's woad. Actually, maybe not. In 2010, the organization joined one of Montana's longest-running projects to eradicate Dyer's woad from the state. Specifically from Montana. I think that'd be J. Eradicate Dyer's woad from the state would be removing it specifically from Montana. That'd be J. Since the 50s, the hardy, fast-growing weed has choked out native plants and overrun wildlife habitats in several Montana counties. The writer is considering revising choked out to the word harmed and the word overrun to affected. Probably not, because those aren't as visceral, I guess. No, because the revisions suggest the work has been ineffective. Not really. Yeah, downplay. I think that'd be D. What time? 30 minutes. So we should be on question 60 right now, but we're not. So we're going to hurry it up. Specifically trained dogs can dig up. Point out. Sniff out. Dogs work to find woad as established in the... Yeah, sniff out, I think. Because she was just pointing to it. The tiny young specimens of Dyer's woad. I think that'd be A. 55 is A. We can come back to that though. With the dog's help, conservationists are better able to locate and remove woad before it matures and reproduces. Are better able to locate woad before it matures. And reproduces. Better able to locate woad before it matures and reproduces. Better locate woad before it matures and reproduces. That'd be J. To locate woad before it matures and reproduces. The dog's help, conservationists are better able to locate woad before it matures and reproduces. Better able to locate woad before it matures and reproduces. Thousands of seeds. Okay, yeah. Hurt thanks to Lily by tossing a tennis ball for her to chase. Lily's longtime favorite. I think that'd just be a comma. C for comma. Hurt thanks Lily by tossing a tennis ball for her to chase. Lily's Lily's longtime favorite reward for identifying the scent of Dyer's wood. Yeah, because that's not an independent clause. I don't think. Alright, 58. A former shelter dog now living with one of the handlers, Lily was assigned to the Dyer's Boat protection for her ability, much like a police dog's, to ignore all other scents while she is working. For her ability, much like a police dog's. That's Libby G. Section off that a positive. Lily's nose, like the noses of a small number of other conservation dogs. Like the noses of other conservation dogs. Yeah, I think that's no change. Has helped humans find a new way to strengthen their bonds with dogs. Concludes the paragraph in the essay. Has helped humans... I don't think that would work or that would work. Has helped humans almost completely weed out Dyer's Wood and Solar. Maybe. Yeah, I think that'd be H. Cool. But exactly how these tiny creatures avoid... Oh, gosh. I'm going to go straight to 62. Sentence 5 should be placed before sentence 1. 63, I think, is B. Alright, now we can actually read it. Mosquitoes don't dodge raindrops, but exactly how these tiny creatures avoid being knocked out of the air during storms puzzled. Has puzzled entomologists. How they haven't been knocked out has puzzled. How they haven't been knocked out have puzzled. I think that's D. But exactly how these tiny creatures avoid being knocked out of the air during storms has puzzled entomologists for years. Yeah, okay. While a typical mosquito measures about 3 millimeters in length, a raindrop is between 2 and 8 in diameter. More importantly, a raindrop can weigh 50 times a mosquito. A mosquito might be hit by a drop this size over and over while flying through a moderate rainstorm. Clearest and most specific information about how often a mosquito is struck. Yeah, I think that's G. That's the only one that's specific. To study how mosquitoes contend with raindrops, mechanical engineer and biologist Dr. Who placed mosquitoes inside a clear acrylic box with mesh over the top. A clear acrylic box. Acrylic clear box. I think acrylic... Yeah, I think that's if we said clear and acrylic box. Clear and acrylic box. Acrylic clear box. I think acrylic box is like its own thing. Place mosquitoes inside a clear acrylic. Yeah, I think that's no change. Okay. He then sprayed water through the mesh to simulate rainstorms and filmed it. When struck in the legs, a mosquito simply rolls sideways. Delete the underlined portion. The essay would lose a detail that helps make sense of what's happening. Emphasize that getting hit doesn't have a mosquito. Yeah, maybe. Indicate that rolling sideways is a normal part of a mosquito's regular flight pattern. Describes what happens, clarifies how... What is the rest of the paragraph? Yeah, so it's contrasting. Yeah, I think that's A. We can go back to that, though. Sorry for not explaining fully, but I kind of want to get this down on time. This is interesting, though. When struck squarely on the body, the insect joins the droplet, suddenly riding along as the droplet hurls downward for up to 20 mosquito body lengths. Emphasizes the high speed. Hurtles downward. Yeah, that'd be F. No change. 67. Then the mosquito, which appears to use its long legs and wings to twist free from the droplet. Okay. Then the mosquito appears I think that'd be B. Then, as the mosquito... Okay, yeah, that'd be B. Then the mosquito appears to use its long legs and wings to twist free from the droplet and smoothly glide off and away from the droplet. And smoothly glide away. So yeah, 68 is J, 67 is B. Smoothly glide away. Cool. That's kind of crazy. This midair moment of separation occurs so quickly that the mechanics remain unclear. So quickly that the mechanics remain unclear. So quickly. I think that'd be D. So quickly that the mechanics remain unclear. So quickly that the mechanics remain unclear. This midair moment of separation occurs so quickly that the mechanics remain unclear. So quickly that the the entire interaction The entire interaction therefore lasts only a fraction of a second. The entire interaction, for example, after all lasts for only I think that'd be H. It's saying this midair moment of separation occurs so quickly that the mechanics remain unclear. The entire interaction, after all, lasts only a fraction of a second. The entire interaction... Yeah. Oh, man. This is a weird one. The entire interaction, therefore, lasts only a fraction of a second. Is there something with these letters in the way? Oh, that's this. I'm going to just answer 74 real quick. The writer is considering adding the following sentence. Controlled environment and documentation were necessary because capturing footage of mosquitoes flying through storms is impossible. So that'd probably be... Okay, the controlled environment was necessary. So it could be here. But probably at B. Let's go back and read it again. This controlled environment and documentation were necessary because capturing footage through storms in nature is impossible. Yeah, I think it'd be at B. Because if you put it at A, we wouldn't know what documentation you were talking about. But he's talking about high-speed videography. So I think that's B for 74. B. Okay. Going back up here, now we know we can just ignore this. The entire interaction, after all, lasts only a second. Entire interaction, therefore. Sorry, I'm spending way too much time on this question. This midair moment of separation occurs so quickly that the mechanics remain unclear. The entire interaction, after all, lasts only a fraction of a second. Yeah, I think that after all. Yeah. Okay, despite the uncertainties, it is clear that the features that would seem to put mosquitoes at risk in storms, its size, yeah, so 71 is no change. It's talking about a single mosquito. Put the mosquito at risk in storms are precisely what allow it to effectively elude the force. This investigation has yielded information that could benefit humans. Mosquitoes have relinquished a new model for the development of tiny airborne rockets that can be used. Have provided. I think that'd be H. Provided a new model for the development of tiny airborne robots that can be used for search and rescue operations, as well as for surveillance. With these robots, as with mosquitoes, rainstorms, which concludes the paragraph in the essay. definitely not no change. What's the sentence title, or the riders on the storm? It's talking about riding raindrops. The smaller and lighter the body, the more durable. Okay, maybe. With these robots, as with mosquitoes, not C. Yeah, I think that's B. 473. Jeez, 73. And then 75. Suppose the primary purpose had been to offer an overview of how insects fly. Definitely not. Mainly focus on his study. I think that's D. Okay, going back with the minute and a half we have. So I marked off 65. I think we can leave that. 55. Also, I marked. Specially trained dogs can point out the tiny young specimens of dire woad that humans often miss. The specimens that humans often... Yeah, I think that's... No change, is that what we put? Yeah. 52 I also marked. Oh, that one's fine. We have 40 seconds left. I've also marked number 4. So I guess we can go back to that. I feel like there was one that I forgot to mark. Revealed that workers use a surprising means of transportation. A sledge pulled on ice. I don't know why I marked number 4. Okay, we officially have 20 seconds. Oh, did I mark? No, I don't think so. Alright, I'll just go back to 52. Actually, we have 10 seconds, so there's not really anything we can do. Eradicate wood from the... Yeah. Alright, we're done. Close your booklets. Okay, that was interesting. Cool. So, at this point, you would be starting the math test. So, like, I took that minute and a half at the end to kind of go back. What you can do, like, mark off stuff if you want to, that you want to go back to. But if you don't have anything that you really want to go back to, maybe collect your thoughts before the math test. Maybe that would be a better investment of your time. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, we kind of just went back. But yeah, so that was the full test of Form B04, whatever this is. But yeah, good job, guys, for sticking with that. I really don't know what else to say. Yeah, sorry for falling silent half the time as well, because I was thinking. But I think our timing worked pretty well. We had a little bit of time at the end for kind of going back. Not a ton of time, but... so yeah, 30 seconds kind of allows you to get a little bit of leeway. If you get hung up on like 4 or 5 of them along the way, you can take that extra like 15 seconds. Some of them we took like 5 seconds, and some we took like a minute and a half. So you can kind of see how it varies. But yeah, so that was that. Tell me if that was helpful or not, because I might try doing this with this whole test, like doing math, reading, and science. Reading might be a little awkward, but otherwise, actually probably the next one I'll make is on timing for all of them. But yeah, I'm going to grade this. I think I'll have posted this PDF and the PDF of the bubble sheet in the description. So, actually, why am I saying that at the end of the video? It doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. I don't know. It's kind of weird just talking. But yeah, I guess I'll grade this and post the what do you call it? Scale score in the description. But yeah, otherwise I'll end this. So good job.